So I just finally got confirmation that food stamps is officially cut for next month.
About 2 months ago, I stopped eating dinner almost every night of the week so that my boyfriend and I could have enough food left over to have lunch the next day. This was before we were about to lose our food stamps. Mind you, we both work.
I don't think that we really realize the depths that this is, the damage that this is going to do, but the women, the mothers, and the families, but the mothers especially, who are going to go without meals so their children don't have to. I know that I will absolutely be one of those mothers.
But because we have children and because aftercare and before care is too expensive, I've taken a job that's basically minimum wage so that I can be there to pick up my kids. I cannot fathom what we're gonna do without that food stamp money, because if I already couldn't eat dinner with that food stamp money,
I'm so tired of seeing people say like, oh, well, maybe if you had a job, you could get your groceries, or, you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't have to depend on SNAP. I work full time. Thank you. And I do rely on stamps because guess what? It's not enough money in this economy for me to be able to pay bills and get stuff that we need and provide for my 2 kids. So yes, I depend on stamps. And I have a full-time job. So please know that people out here depend on stamps. It's not because we out here just mooching off the government. It's because we literally need that to provide for our family. I work hard every single day. I get up every single day and clean houses, and I still rely on food stamps to feed my 6 children because the prices are so high. It's unrealistic to think about not having food stamps. Next month, I'm so terrified because 6 babies are always eating. Plus myself, I eat about 1 meal a day, but still.
Right, black people were paying taxes for food stamps that they didn't fucking qualify for in 1939. In 1939, they were federally funded. So that means the federal taxes by Americans was paying for that shit. Almost knocked that over. Black Americans were paying through income tax, sales tax, and other forms of taxation, even though most of them were excluded from receiving any of those goddamn benefits. Franklin D. Roosevelt made the New Deal with farmers and the surplus of food that they had on hand. And this gave farmers the ability to sell their surplus and help feed the hungry. I'm sorry, white folks. This allowed white folks to get orange stamps for food and blue stamps for surplus food for free. Now, the program was administered through local government and often by county offices. And in the Jim Crow South, baby, you ain't getting shit. Local offices routinely denied black folks of any help or gave them little to no amount. At that time, we didn't have our civil rights, so no one could fight against the discrimination of food aid. So while black people helped fund food stamps, white people got to eat off of our backs. Something that has been happening since the beginning of this fucking country. White folks love to call black people ghetto and tell us to change our culture. Yes, that shit came from a congressman, but don't realize they kept eating off of us from the beginning. So for all you white folks that sit there and talk shit about black people and being on food stamps and any type of services that the government funds for people in need, baby, y'all are the first broke bitches in this country.
There are 42 million people in this country that need food stamps on a weekly basis. And we're saying people deliberately instead of Americans, because most of the people that are on food stamps aren't even from this country. 45% of Afghanistan immigrants are on food stamps. 42% of Somali immigrants, 34% of every immigrant from Iraq, 23% of Haitians, 59% of all illegal aliens are collecting food stamps, meaning that most of the people getting food stamps from the U.S. government and the U.S. taxpayer are not even Americans. Think about that. And we didn't know about any of this before the government shutdown started, but thanks to Democrats, we can confirm tonight that millions of Joe Biden illegal aliens, people who crossed the border when Joe was president, are now collecting food stamps from a program funded by hardworking American taxpayers.
Okay, this story has people fuming. So apparently, a new report came out showing that Black families actually receive fewer food stamp benefits on average than many people expected. And now some folks are furious because it completely destroys that old stereotype about who's getting help. Oh my God, this is insane. This is insane. For years, the media and certain politicians have pushed this idea that welfare or food stamps are mostly for Black people. Turns out that's not the truth. That's not the truth. And the internet is going crazy about it. Let's talk about what's really going on and why some voters now regret believing those lies. Let's dive in.
My name's Kelly and I'm on food stamps. And before you run your fucking mouth, let me tell you why. My mother was on food stamps, and if I'm being frank, her mother was probably on food stamps. And the reason for that being is, when you're born into poverty, it's almost impossible to escape. You're quite literally born into a system inherited for you to become part of the system. People love to say just work harder, but they don't realize how expensive it is to be poor. But what they don't see is the stress, the debt, the skipped meals, the jobs that don't pay you enough to live. Food stamps aren't a handout. They're quite literally a method of survival. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm well aware of the life that I was given. It's not always fair. We don't always start at the same line. And I plan on being the last motherfucker in my bloodline that ever needs this fucking card.
I know damn well the rich ass Black community ain't crying over food stamp benefits and welfare money. I just know the rich ass, designer wearing ass, trip taking, wig wearing, nail wearing, lash wearing, 3 chains on, Rick Owens stepping, Balenciaga stepping, new shoe drop stepping, 1942 and Don Julio buying, big timing, Black community, and crying over no motherfucking food stamps and welfare money. Next motherfucking case.
The system doesn't need to silence the poor anymore because now the poor do it for them.
This message is for all the people that are complaining that they're not getting their food stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamp money?
Every few weeks, she posted another rant about people on food stamps. One week, she's tired of hearing people complain. The next, she says she literally wants to fight a woman over what she bought with her EBT card. And I couldn't understand the fixation. Why was she so obsessed? Until I saw this.
I've been on food stamps before because I had to.
It's what happens when struggling people start punching down on struggling people. When you somehow convince yourself that you're middle class, but you're actually poor. That's how the system wins, by getting people to fight each other rather than questioning it. Struggling people turn on other struggling people instead of realizing they're all being squeezed by the same system. This part stood out to me.
And not for nothing, I saw this woman that said she was getting $1,100 a month in food stamps.
But here's the twist. That video was probably fake.
So guess what I'm doing for the first time in 12 years? Okay? I am getting up, I'm ready, did my hair, took my shower, brushed my teeth, and I'm going to do my community service hours. Why community service hours, do you ask? Because they told me in order to keep my food stamps, I would have to do 15 hours of community service per week. That's at minimum. I can do more if I want to, which I probably will because I don't have anything else going on. And my kids are in daycare since I qualified for subsidized childcare.
This woman is actually a satire creator. Her bio literally says, satire mom content, rage bait. Usually she tags it as satire, but that day she didn't and people believed her. Her comments were full of rage. Lazy, entitled, stealing from taxpayers. But rage gets clicks. And when fake content goes viral, it turns real people, real families who actually need SNAP into punching bags. And then there's this one.
Y'all ain't hear me. They cut my food stamps. I I ain't paying for none of this shit. I got babies at home that gotta eat. You think I'm just gonna leave my cart here? Hell no. I ain't paying nothing. I'm walking out with it. Try and stop me.
The food was already on the belt. If she was stealing, why load it up? Because she's not real. The woman doesn't exist. The entire video is AI generated. And people still flooded the comments, calling her names, mocking her weight, her class, her existence, all over a person that literally isn't human. And as someone who is constantly accused of being AI, I want y'all to learn the difference. Real people, real stories, real voices are being drowned out by fake ones, and it's only making us angrier at each other.
You deserve to be poor and starve, according to American Christians. Why do you think we're seeing so many of those videos celebrating people losing their SNAP benefits on November 1st? It's because American evangelical Christians believe in a concept called the deserving poor versus the undeserving poor, and they see people as deserving what they get. Well, you're a single mother. That should have never happened. You deserve to suffer and starve, and so do your children. You should have been married. You're disabled? Well, I mean, why should the government take care of you? You're not useful to society anyway, so we don't want you around. And this concept has been around since at least the Middle Ages. Whether it be the king or government in charge or the church, they would decide and set rules around who deserves to be poor and how they should be treated. Not well, guys. And who doesn't? Who's the undeserving poor? Say, oh, the widow of a soldier. Oh, well, they were fighting for the king and we should help them for a short time until she marries again to find a father for her children, because that's what they believe. It's only for a short time. And that's what we see playing out right here in the United States. That's why so many Christians are celebrating people losing food, not being able to feed their children because they don't believe they should have those children. Therefore, they believe they should suffer. How very Jesus-y of them. Is that what Jesus would do, guys? You tell me.
So here is what happened. The study broke down food stamp data by state and by race, and the numbers shocked people. Yeah, people are shocked by these numbers. It showed that a large percentage of recipients are actually white, and in many areas, Black families qualify for less assistance even when they are facing the same level of struggle. Social media lit up with comments like, wait, so we have been blaming the wrong people this whole time? And honestly, that reaction says a lot. Yeah, that reaction says a lot. Now, here is where it gets real. Some folks who once voted for politicians promising to cut welfare abuse are realizing they were hurting their own communities, not the ones they thought. You had people online saying, we believed the propaganda and now we see the truth. Others were mad because they feel played. People are feeling played. They were told one thing about who benefits from government help, but the facts don't line up. Yeah, the facts don't line up. It's that, wait a minute, we have been led to moment. So the truth is, it's not about who is lazy or who is taking advantage. No, it's not. It's about system, access, and opportunity. Some states make it harder for low-income families, especially minority families, to qualify for full benefits. That means even when Black families are struggling, they often get less help, not more. They are not getting more help. They are getting less help. It's not about race superiority, it's about policy and who the system favors. TikTok and Twitter went wide. Yeah, TikTok and Twitter, they are on fire. People were posting clips saying things like, so we have been blaming the victims while the system was failing everyone. Others were like, now I see why they want us divided. It keeps us distracted. You even had some conservative creators admitting they felt misled by the talking points they used to believe. That's powerful. Yeah, that's so powerful. That's growth. This is bigger than food stamps. Yeah, this is bigger than food stamps. It's about how easily people are manipulated by the vision, how race gets used to keep working people angry at each other instead of questioning why the system doesn't help them or equally. So when you learn the truth, you can't unsee it. And a lot of voters are starting to wake up to that. They're starting to wake up. So yeah, some people are furious, others feel embarrassed. But if this story does anything, I hope it opens eyes. I hope so. Because at the end of the day, hunger doesn't care about your skin color. And fairness shouldn't either. I'm telling you, fairness shouldn't. Yeah, trust me. So let me know in the comments. Did this surprise you? Do you think politicians have been using race to distract voters from the real issue, poverty and inequality? Tell me. Tell me in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell because we are breaking down more stories the mainstream media won't explain like this. So stay aware, stay united, and remember the truth always exposes the lies. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.